It's Friday, the 3rd of December 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Michael.
All right, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's get into it. Story number 1 this morning, Sean. Pharmacy wars are underway. Woolworths have jumped into the battle for Australian pharmaceutical industries, pitting themselves against Wesfarmers.
I love this story, Michael. Woolies for decades has wanted to get pharmacies into supermarkets. Now, you go to most other nations and you can put a script in, do groceries and pick up your medicine after you've paid at the checkout. But not in Australia. The Pharmacy Guild has always been powerful enough to prevent incursions into their territory. Now, Woolies has made a $1.75 a share bid for Australian pharmaceutical industries, which until yesterday was almost certainly going to be sold to Wesfarmers. The Woolies bid is much more than the $1.55 offer from Wesfarmers for API. And of course, API did the sensible thing by shareholders and granted due diligence. API is a wholesaler and retailer of drugs. It has a universal service obligation with the government to supply pharmaceuticals within 48 hours anywhere in the country. In return, it gets government support. It owns and operates a bunch of chemists, including the Priceline Pharmacies, Sol Pattinson Chemist and Pharmacist Advice chains. The winner in all this, of course, is API shareholders, and the company's share price jumped 16% yesterday. Now, it isn't the biggest takeover of the year. It's worth less than $1 billion. But it is incredibly symbolic. Big supermarkets over the years have introduced fruit departments and bakeries. Their meat departments have put butchers out of business. Pharmacies have always resisted the supermarkets. Health and wellness, though, is a big and growing market. The supermarket gorillas are coming.
Yeah, the industry may well change forever by the sounds of it. Story number 2, Sean, it's a pretty serious one, really. A former staffer of Education Minister Alan Tudge, who had an affair with the federal MP in 2017, yesterday alleged that it was abusive.
They're very serious allegations. Mr. Tudge and his former staffer, Rachel Miller, have both previously acknowledged the affair, but yesterday Ms. Miller said on one occasion it involved physical abuse. It also involved emotional abuse, she claimed. Mr. Tudge said he completely and utterly rejected Ms. Miller's accusations and yesterday stepped aside from his ministerial duties pending an investigation.
Yeah, really serious one, that one. On to story number 3, and Crown Resorts, Sean, has rejected private equity group Blackstone's bid of $12.50 a share, but it wasn't exactly a rejection.
The board of Crown said no, but then invited Blackstone into the building to have a look at the gaming giant's books, saying it hoped Blackstone could formulate a revised proposal that better reflected the value of Crown. Make no mistake about it, Crown is well and truly in play, and its response to Blackstone may well flush out any other bidders. Obviously, the board and 37% shareholder James Packer want more money. The fact that Crown is inviting Blackstone in shows that they considered the offer seriously, and maybe, just maybe, it's not too far off the money. Crown's share price was up slightly yesterday, but it's still trading around $11 a share. That's way below the offer price. If James Packer comes on board and decides to sell down, and he must do that over the next 5 years as a result of recommendations from the Victorian Royal Commission, it's game over. I still think Blackstone will end up owning Crown.
Okay, we'll see. How about this one, Sean? Story number 4. Glenn Stevens was the boss of the Reserve Bank for 10 years, and he's now been appointed chair of Macquarie Group from next May.
It's a very interesting choice. He'll be replacing Peter Warne, who's stepping down. Now, when Mr. Stevens ran the Reserve Bank from 2006 to 2016, it was a pretty prosperous time for the Australian economy. The biggest criticism of him was that he lifted interest rates too soon, but really, he did a pretty good job. But Glenn Stevens isn't commercial, and Macquarie Group is about as commercial an organisation as there is in banking. And he doesn't have much experience on ASX-listed boards. In fact, he has none. He is very credible. He is very smart. Everyone agrees on that. But Macquarie is a big moving beast with fingers in all sorts of pies. It's pushing hard into infrastructure. It's a very big global business. Glenn Stevens is a very interesting choice to lead the organisation, though I'm slightly surprised he even took the job.
Okay, story number 5, Sean, and this story is getting a lot of attention right around the world. The Women's Professional Tennis Tour is suspending all tournaments in China, including in Hong Kong, in response to the disappearance from public life of tennis star Peng Shuai.
Yes, it comes after Ms. Shui claimed on her social media channels that she was sexually assaulted by a top member of the Chinese government. the Chinese government has raised all mentions of that incident and all discussions of Shui, who disappeared from public life more than 2 weeks ago. As you said, it is a very concerning story, and good on the Women's Professional Tennis Tour for suspending tournaments in China.
Yeah, a big move and hopefully brings a bit of pressure to the situation. That's it, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Friday, the 3rd of December 2021. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, then you can find our longer podcast called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform, and you can always find more info and plenty of interviews at fearandgreed.com.au. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fear and Greed Business Headlines. Have a great day.